Mars. What is happening on Mars in February? It's like, oh my God, all of a sudden everything is like, we have 3 Mars missions arriving at this, not quite the same time, but in the same month. It's like Mars is a happening place right now.
I love it. Like, it's such a happening place that you get to take your pick of like which one of the missions you want to talk about first. Like, oh, well, let's dive into my favorite first.
Yeah, isn't that a luxury? I absolutely love that. It's like we're literally living in a time where there are so many missions and all over the world internationally, like so many nations are taking part in actually like space exploration, going to the moon, going to Mars. The moon is also a super happening place up and coming. Not only because of not only because of like what NASA's doing with Artemis, which we'll definitely get into, but because they have a program that's now allowing like small businesses around the world to actually take part in having a presence on the moon. But we'll get into that later. We'll talk about Mars first.
Yes. Yeah. Oh my God.
Yes.
It's so exciting.
So many things.
I know. So the Mars 2020 rover, also known as Perseverance, through NASA, is arriving sometime mid-February. I completely forgot what the date was. Sometime mid-February. And this is the first time a helicopter is going to be going to Mars. So it comes with Ingenuity. They're both arriving. I know, so cool. So there's the Perseverance rover and then the Ingenuity helicopter. And this is going to be extremely important because if you're like the rover and you have a camera and you're like, driving along, you got all these hills and rocks and stuff. Sometimes you can't really see how far away like an upcoming hill is, how deep it might be. And so you don't want to like really drive full force with the rover ahead and then you crash into it. So the helicopter is going to operate where it's going to be able to go ahead, kind of like a drone, give you like a 360 view of that area, the terrain, and then you can continue exploring. So this is going to allow us to go even further.
So it's going to be the eyes of the rover. Yeah. That's so cool.
Yeah.
That's so cool. I love that so much. Because isn't that what happened? The lander that they landed on the asteroid, that basically went dark because it was no longer able to face the sun. But if they had something like this, where they could have had a rover move it to be in the sun and out of this little like...
Was that Bennu? Asteroid Bennu?
Asteroid Bennu. I think that's the mission you're thinking about. Yeah, I don't exactly remember what happened, but if it wasn't in the sun, it might have been like maybe a solar panel problem, so it couldn't charge its batteries, and maybe the backup of the battery was
batteries.
I'm pretty sure what happened was it bounced, in unpredictable ways when it hit the asteroid. And they had to be so careful because the asteroid has such low gravity that if it bounced too hard, it would just bounce off and back into space. But it ended up landing, I think, in a crevice where it didn't have enough light and it wasn't able to do its mission for as long as they had hoped. But they still got great stuff off of that.
There was like a collection of the asteroid, I believe, for that one. Because also Hayabusa 2 from Japan, so JAXA, the Japanese Space Agency, they retrieved a sample of an asteroid. I don't remember which asteroid it was, but that was the first, I believe, asteroid sample to have been retrieved and then successfully come back to Earth. And that was last month.
Just recently.
Super
so
recent.
Cool.
Yeah. So I think Bennu, super, super cool. So so many things. And then also so the other missions. Oh, okay. Were you going to go into asteroid mining?
Well, yeah, it's just, I want to talk about this helicopter a little bit more. I'm blown away by
I was going to say like everything about this. So the fact that there's being a helicopter being landed with the rover is already a huge thing because, we have never seen a helicopter style spacecraft really.
Never.
That I know of.
No.
Yeah.
This is brand new.
Yeah.
This is so cool. This is like next level.
But what's so crazy, I mean, just for people who maybe don't know enough about a ton about Mars, one of the interesting things about Mars is that it has a very weak atmosphere. I mean, it's like percentages of the pressure that we have here on Earth. So there's fewer molecules to push off of with a helicopter. So you need to have these giant wings and you need to be super lightweight because, I mean, it's so funny. The famous movie, The Martian, was well known for being super scientifically accurate, right? Everybody kind of lauded it for being, really getting the science right. And the one thing that they got wrong in that movie, and Andy Weir even admits to this, he's like, I knew that this wasn't realistic, but it was kind of a plot point that he needed for the development of the plot, was at the beginning of the movie, there's this huge sandstorm, right? And it blows over some tower.
Right.
And scientists who know about Mars are like, yeah, that would never happen because the wind, there isn't enough like wind.
Yeah.
The wind can be going really fast, but there's not enough like energy behind it, or not enough like, weight to the wind to be able to knock things over. So how does a helicopter fly on Mars? Like, what is this? Like, how does it charge? Does it go up? Does it come back and charge? Like, how is this going to work? Do you know?
Yeah. So I actually did a little experiment with some students I work with at a school I teach at called Dexter. And it's a super cool STEM school. It's, the name is Dexter. And we did a little experiment actually. Yeah. Where we made little helicopters with propellers, and we essentially recreated what it would be like to really have a helicopter, but we're here on Earth, so we kind of just dropped it. But we were kind of testing out the different, like what you were saying, John, about the sizes of the propellers, and just what the material would need to be like, how fast it would need to spin as well. So that was something that we were looking at too. But yeah, this helicopter is going to, I forgot what the rotations per minute are, but I know that it's going to be spinning like extremely fast in order to really gain enough height, and then also to continue. I don't exactly remember how it charges its battery. I believe there's a way that it maybe can reconnect with the rover itself and then work off of that energy, but I don't know for sure, because I know that the Perseverance rover is kind of like a similar design to Curiosity and other previous rovers, Opportunity as well. It just has some new materials added to it, like Moxie, which is able to convert dark carbon dioxide into oxygen. Really important thing on Mars.
So cool.
If we want humans there.
That's so cool.
So they're testing that out. So that's part of the Perseverance rover, which is really cool. But they're pretty similar in design. Like they all kind of look quite similar. So I believe it's about the same type of charge as the previous rovers. But the helicopter, I think we should totally look into as far as how it's charged. I don't exactly remember. But regardless, super exciting mission. I can't wait to see what images it brings back.
I just can't wrap my head around the hubris of these engineers, because when you look at the past Mars rover missions, I don't remember which one it was, but I remember listening to the description of how they landed this rover by having a rocket come down. The rocket had to hover, it had to release something, it had to bounce in just the right ways, and then things had so many things have to go perfect for this thing to work.
Yeah.
And they're killing it on Mars. NASA has just been one mission after another success, which is really funny because nobody else has had any success on Mars. The Russians have been trying to land rovers on Mars, and every single one has failed. And, we've had problems on Venus where Russians have had success. And this helicopter to me just seems like, okay, we've been really successful with these absolutely crazy projects that we've, managed to do in the past. So let's kick it up a notch and make it even more ridiculously hard. Because it's like, a helicopter flying around, it's going to go fly and it's going to come back and charge. Like the level of complexity that has to all come together perfectly for this to work is insane.
Especially calculating the atmosphere and gravity on a different planet.
Right.
And having to fly on a different gravity scale.
Yeah.
And all these things that have to come together for this to work. I mean, they're tempting fate a little bit. I feel like they're.
Yeah.
I just think this is brilliant. This is just a feat of engineering.
Yeah.
If it works, we'll see.
Exactly. And also at the same time, there's the InSight lander, which is currently on Mars, and that's measuring Mars quakes. So Mars has quakes just like we have earthquakes here on Earth. And so that's been kind of has a really small kind of drill that's gone into a bit of the crust, and it's able to measure at least some of the tectonic activity on Mars. So we've got all this whole robotic family on Mars, just totally dominating it. Yeah. It's super, super
it's
cool.
It's amazing. And they've got orbiters that are communicating with the robots on the ground. And it's
that's
we're there.
another one too.
Our robots have settled Mars, it feels like.
Yeah. Now.
Yeah. I mean, Mars is the robot planet currently.
Yeah, exactly. And then another one now that you mentioned, an orbiter, the Hope orbiter through United Arab Emirates. That's also going to be arriving. I believe it's sometime the end of this month or it's early March, but it's right on that cusp of February. So we kind of grouped it together in the February missions. But that's, I believe, the first time that United Arab Emirates is going to be going to Mars. So it is just going to be an orbiter.
They have big plans for Mars, don't they? They talked about building a Martian test city here on Earth. Do you know if that's still happening? I remember reading about that. That was such an interesting project. I've read about it as well.
Yeah, I don't know what the current status is on that, but they, in addition to a few other countries that are actually working on having a whole Mars city, people that are working on I try to stray more away from the term colonization and I'll kind of look at like more like habitats or like settled, like more like domes, or like bases. So like lunar base, Mars bases, because that is something that I know they're looking at as well for having. There's actually a few companies too from France that are going to be using like silica aerogel to try to help create sort of this like greenhouse effect around some of their domes. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of this like really cool material, silica aerogel.
No.
I mean, not outside of like video games.
Yeah.
I've seen it in Subnautica, but I haven't seen it in real life.
Okay.
It's a super cool material that is, it's like the majority of it is air, but it is essentially creating this greenhouse effect. And it was made by Harvard scientists and researchers at NASA Jet Propulsion Laboratory. And I was able to hold it once. It's super lightweight. It's just like a little cube.
Actually, I have seen this.
You've seen
this. It's crazy looking.
Looks like a cloud.
Looks like a cloud on your hand. Yeah, no, I have seen this. Oh my God. It was one of the things that popped up on like this list of like really cool like science gifts to get your kids or something. And I was like,
wait, you can buy it?
Like, yeah, you can absolutely buy this shit. You can't buy very much of it. And it's like, of course, very pricey, but like, it's super cool. And it just looks insane.
We need to get some for the studio.
Yeah, it'd be super
So they're
cool.
using this for habitats?
So that's a goal for some companies that are like essentially working on it, is incorporating that with a bunch of other materials. But what's so great about it is it's super lightweight, which is good for payload. You know, when you're launching there, you're having like an 8-month mission to get to Mars. You don't want to have like too much stuff. So you want to have as light of a payload as possible. But something cool about it is that it will trap in sunlight and heat. And so essentially creating a greenhouse effect. And that on Mars is really, really important because it's super duper cold on Mars. And because like you were mentioning, John, the atmosphere is super thin. So to have something essentially create that, it'll allow for plant life and humans to be able to live in and trap in oxygen. And something pretty too is it diffracts light. So if I got to play with it, I do a YouTube video of it, but if you have like a flashlight and you shine it through it, it actually creates kind of like a sunset. So we would be able to also see a nice sunset on Mars. Yeah, which would be cool.
So like a prism. Oh my God, that's so cool.
Yeah.
That is amazing.
Yeah, it's super awesome.
Science is so dope.
I
know. The way that we have progressed in science is so amazing. That's so cool.
Yeah.
So tell us more about the UAE mission. Do you know what their mission plan, what do you call it? Goals are?
Yeah, so it's mainly going to be essentially looking at the atmosphere on Mars. So I'm trying to kind of answer questions around like, so the planet hemorrhages hydrogen and helium, quite a lot of hydrogen and helium. So trying to sort of understand like, you know, what aids in that process, like why is there such a prominent amount of that with not only within the atmosphere, but like just found also throughout the planet, because the planet has ice caps on like kind of like in the South Pole, and there's been some. Are
they water ice?
So it's a combination of I believe it's ammonia, mainly carbon dioxide. But because there's so much carbon dioxide in the ice, it's carbon dioxide ice. Researchers like, Carl Sagan once actually said, he's like, I bet if we were to try to melt those ice caps, it would produce enough carbon dioxide to help thicken the atmosphere and possibly make it a little more relatable to Earth. The only problem
wasn't
with
that Elon Musk's?
Did Elon say that too for terraforming Mars?
His crazy idea. He went on some talk show and he's like, "Yeah, all we have to do is drop a couple nukes on the polar ice caps, and we'll have a greenhouse effect."
Yeah. That's the thing. The only
I don't know if
problem
he's serious.
Is it wouldn't be long term. We'd have to come up with something else to sort of keep sustaining this atmosphere, because Mars doesn't have.
Yeah.
Exactly. It doesn't have a magnetic field anymore, so that's how the atmosphere is escaped.
Right.
And so the magnetic field, which essentially is just created by like, you know, a charged circuit of energy going through the center of Earth, and it comes through the poles, and then that's what you see swirling kind of around Earth. And when that interferes with the sun, that's what creates like aurora borealis,
yes.
What's the other name for those things?
The Northern Lights.
Northern Lights. Thank you. So the aurora. I got so used to saying aurora borealis. And so that's kind of going off subject a little bit, but yeah, so United Arab Emirates is looking to sort of gather some more information on like what is left of that Martian atmosphere, kind of understand it a bit more, which would of course aid in what their mission is, their goal for possibly building up a city. So we'll see. I definitely want to look into that.
Right.
Though.
Yeah, that's awesome. So what are the Chinese up to? They're landing a rover as well, right?
Yeah, the Taiwan 1 mission. So something that they're kind of looking at as well. So a lot of the missions that are going to Mars are to try to find any type of signs of life, if there is any life there. And when we say life too, like life on Mars, we're kind of thinking along the terms of like extremophiles. So like, like how tardigrades, they can survive.
Yeah,
insane.
I was just going to say tardigrades.
Yeah, it's so insane. I mean, I think
the little water bears, they are the coolest little things.
They're so
I'm
cute.
obsessed with tardigrades.
And they could survive in the vacuum of space. They brought them up to the space station and we're able to test that out, which is insane. So with that being said, like, are we going to find more like water bears or something on, something like it on Mars? So that's definitely something also that China is going to be looking at on the Taiwan 1 mission. So Taiwan 1, and so they're going to be looking for that as well. It's like it's a different locations. I think I forgot what part of Mars they're exploring, but trying to sort of just like collect different samples. I believe they're doing a sample return mission as well to Earth, just to do some more analysis on that. But
from Mars,
I believe so. Don't quote me on that. I'm actually not too sure about that. But I think a lot of these missions, something great about it is that a lot of the samples that are like collected with some of the rovers, there's a lot of instruments built into these rovers to actually analyze it there without having to return it. But I feel like I don't know if it was Taiwan 1, we can look into it afterwards, or another mission that China's planning to do a return mission. It might be a moon mission, a lunar mission, because I know they're going to be sending more rovers there as well.
Yeah. Moon's a little easier to get off of.
Exactly. Yeah. Yep, exactly.
Thanks for checking out this clip from our show.
To watch more clips or full episodes, click on our profile below.
If you want to stay up to date on all of our new episodes and videos, click subscribe.
And if you have any ideas for future guests or topics that you would like to see us cover on the show,
leave us a message in the comments or connect with us on any of our social media channels at Funtime Program.
Or on our website at funtimeprogram.com.
We'll see you in the next one.
Bye-bye.